everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann, and this is the award-winning Fan Show. That's right, everyone's a fan of something, and we have got something for every fan, especially if you are a fan of birthdays, because guess what? Guess what, Fan Nation? It is the Fan Show's birthday. That's right, we are turning 4 years old. Today, it was 4 years ago on this day that I decided to start a podcast. And it was called the Butt Fumble Show, or the Butt Fumble Podcast. And we have since done some rebranding, some revamping, and everything has been onward and upward. But I will always be honest and humble and admit that the first few episodes were absolutely terrible. And I'm very glad now that we have found our rhythm, that we are up and running under a brand that people enjoy. We've got a group name for you guys. You're Fan Nation. You're not the Butt Fumblers, which I'd still say that would be a fantastic name for a band. But it's a journey. Am I right? Everything in life is about the journey, and the journey of the Fan Show is one that I don't think I would really trade for anything. It's been fantastic. Those of you listening, you're in for a treat because we're back with an all-new episode of The Fan Show. In fact, this is the Season 4 premiere, or I guess maybe technically the Season 5 premiere. Anyway, however you want to count it, this is a new season premiere of The Fan Show. But for those of you that are watching on Facebook Live, you're in for a treat because look at how awesome we look today. This is what I've been up to. We've been busy. We now know how to go ahead and stream through OBS, and we've got a little scrolly bar down there going on with a few things that'll change for each episode. And right now, I really hope everybody can hear me that's watching on the Facebook Live. I see that we've got Brandon who's watching, says, welcome back. Hey, thank you, my man. It's good to be back. We've got Matt, Photo Matt, fat bearded vinyl guy. He is watching as well. So I really hope everybody can hear me. In fact, I'm going to chime in here. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Because this is very, very new. But anyway, the look right now is great, and it will only improve as the show has evolved and rebranded and improved. This, what you are seeing right now on Facebook Live, this is just the beginning. And there's a bunch of my haters out there right now going, shit! He figured out how to do cool stuff. Yes, I did, because here's another cool thing coming up for you. It is now time for today's birthday headlines. And headlines, of course, are brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises, where they want to customize your world. That's right. Anything that you could think of that you would like your logo. Oh, other way. Your logo. Yeah, it's down there. I'll figure it out. It's down there. Yeah, your logo or artwork on. Maybe you want a t-shirt made. I'm wearing my new Funko purchase from the headquarters in Everett, which we'll talk about. We went to the Funko Pop headquarters. This is WrestleMania, Austin versus Rock, no disqualification. They could do a shirt for you. They could do a hat. They could do even a little custom mini helmet if you wanted to. This one was done by Adam, who he's in the headlines today as well. And they want to be your go-to for anything that you want customized. Stickers, banners, flags, tablecloths, business cards. They could do pencils, lanyards. I mean, I'm looking around at my desk right now, and I'm seeing literally everything they could put a logo on. I'm like, yeah, they could put a logo on that. They could do your artwork on that. It's fantastic. So Dynamite Enterprises is the place to go. You need to hit up Ethan. So visit their website, see what you like. If there's something that you want that you don't see there, then just ask, hey, can you do this? And they'll do their best to make it the most perfect product ever, whether it's for promotional, marketing, advertising, whatever. Hit up Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com, or if you're not sure what you want, just visit dynamiteenterprises.com. They are fantastic, and they are actually that. There we go. Dynamite Enterprises, customize your world, and they have been a proud sponsor and partner of the show for not all of the 4 years. That would actually be Undisputed Belts, who I don't have their graphic on me right now, but yeah. Undisputed Belts makes fantastic belts. In fact, they're sponsoring the 4th annual Fan Show Fantasy Football League. But Dynamite Enterprises, they do belts as well. So really, they're your one-stop shop. Undisputed, though, has been with me since the beginning. They sponsored the first ever Fan Nation Fantasy Football League, and it's been a beautiful partnership ever since. You see me with the belt going around on the Fan Show tour, and of course the belt has become sort of the centerpiece. The Fan Show is synonymous with the belt. People don't recognize me without the damn belt. You guys haven't gotten this down yet, but it's okay. It's okay. I appreciate it. Everybody wants the belt, and so we give away a custom one at championship games, which also championships are in our headlines as well. So that is what is new as far as what you're seeing on the Facebook. I chose the background. I thought this was great, representing my school, the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting. And then we've got my logo there. We've got the scrolly right there. And I even put on a suit jacket for you, wore an awesome T-shirt. And everybody that's watching that hates the show is just like, man, what are we going to do? He figured out how to do cool stuff, guys. Like, look, he figured out how to do the cool thing on the thing. And I know it took me a while, but hey, better late than never. But, in my defense, I'm not wearing actual pants. I'm wearing pajama bottoms. So I did keep some of the heart and soul of the Fan Show with me on this live broadcast right now. So go ahead, chime in. This episode is for you guys because I've been gone for so long. We're back with an all-new episode, and I just want to hear from all of you guys and what's been going on. I'll catch you up on what's been going on in my life. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about. There is no guest tonight. You guys are the guests, so hit me up on the Facebook Live. I see you guys right there. Hello, Jordan. Hello, Adam. You guys are awesome. Ant-Man, Antoine Smith has just joined in and is watching. Let's see here. Cameron's here. Good. I'm glad that you guys like what you're seeing and you can hear me. That's the most important thing right now, because if you couldn't hear me, then I'm kind of screwed. But anyway, so headlines. I know you're like, on with it, boy. What are we doing here? So headlines. Let's take it from the top. So since we last spoke, an NAL champion has been crowned, an AFL champion has been crowned, and just this last weekend, an LFL champion has been crowned. So the NAL championship, the Cobras versus the Sharks of Jacksonville, and Jacksonville won it in fantastic fashion. And what I mean by that is that it came down to the wire, okay? I love a close game. I love a game that comes down to the final minutes, final seconds even, and this one did. But there was some controversy, a few no calls. Sound familiar? And, people said, well, this should have happened, that should have happened. And Coach Billy Back is one of the straightest shooters I've ever talked to in my life. He'll say when something was missed or something that is wrong, but he will also say as a coach that we shouldn't have let it come down to the refs, which they shouldn't have. But I must say, we've been how far removed from the NAL championship game, and I don't think a single fan has sought legal representation to sue the league over the officiating. I'm sorry. I've been gone too long, but this needs to get out. Some fan bases just know how to lose with dignity. All right? I'm going to say that right. I'm going to get that out there right now because it needs to be said. So, congratulations, Jacksonville Sharks, your 2019 NAL champions. Congratulations to the Albany Empire, who are your 2019 AFL champions from the AFL Championship, and that was a great game. No controversy, really, except for after the fact, quarterback Tom Grady, decided that he was going to take some shots at the NAL talent, or basically any league below the AFL talent, and say that they wouldn't be able to hold a candle to the talent at the AFL, except for I know plenty of guys from the IFL and NAL that play in the AFL, so I'm not really sure what he's getting at. But anyway, that was a while ago. no need to, reopen old wounds, but I thought that was very interesting for someone to say that, because I have never once thought, like, look, there's leagues that have like lesser talent because the guys that can't make it in one league or on one team, that's what they have to resort to. But as far as the IFL and NAL are concerned, I mean, if they weren't that good, AFL wouldn't poach their players all season long, and that's exactly what they did. So there was that. The LFL, the Legends Football League, formerly the Lingerie Football League, crowned a champion. It was the Seattle Mist. I was in Seattle during this, but I did not go to the game. In fact, it was about 15 minutes away from where I was, and I still didn't make it. So we crowned 3 champions. One more time, congratulations, Jacksonville Sharks. Congratulations, Albany Empire. And congratulations, Seattle Mist. And let's go ahead and open up with a question right now then, while I get through some more headlines. First question for you guys watching on the Facebook Live would be, do you believe that the talent level at the talent level in leagues such as the Indoor Football League and the National Arena League are so much less that it's like the difference between professional and college or college and high school, where if you were to have the Jacksonville Sharks or the Sioux Falls Storm square up against the Albany Empire, I mean, is it a complete blowout? Like, do we need to get the team that finished last in the standings from the AFL to play the team that was the champion from the IFL? Like, does that make it a fair fight? I'm really curious what you guys thought about this, because there were people that were not very happy about the comments made by quarterback Tommy Grady, who played in the NAL, so that was even more interesting. I went to San Antonio. San Antonio was fantastic. I was really enjoying my time there. Very humid. It's nice to be back in Washington, where I don't have to shower twice a day simply for stepping outside. But other than that, the river walk and everything was great. It was good to see Jordan and all the Wisconsin boys. They did lose, but hey, it was an honor to be on the call for another AFE event. I'd be back anytime. So that was great. San Antonio, Texas in general, really working its way up on my list as far as favorite places to go. So that was a lot of fun. I celebrated my 5-year anniversary with my wife this last weekend, so that was a lot of fun as well. My wife had no idea what I had planned out, but I had a whole weekend planned out. So we started out, we woke up. She knew that we were renting a car. That was pretty much it. So wherever we were going was going to be in a reasonable driving distance. So we went to Enterprise, and we got the car, and it was a great Chevy Malibu. And in fact, I didn't want to give it back. And we'll talk about that in a second. But so we pick up the rental car, and we go, and we get some road snacks, and then I handed her an envelope that had a card in it with an address. And she put in the address, but it didn't say like what was at that address, which I thank you, GPS, for doing that, or Apple Maps. So we drove, and we drove, and we drove, and then we got to the Hampton Inns and Suites where we stayed, and we were greeted great by the front desk people. Got up to our room, and there was a goodie bag or a gift basket with wine, and then in that was another card for Dave & Buster's, which I've been on a few trips this year that she has not been able to be a part of. And we love Chuck E. Cheese, but let's face it, we've outgrown it. We're adults now. We do adult things, and that would be Dave & Buster's, and I got to experience it for the first time in Orlando. Absolutely love Dave & Buster's. She's been one other time, and she was extremely jealous. There was a Dave & Buster's in Glendale for the United Bowl, but I swore I wouldn't go, and then Jordan snuck me to a Dave & Buster's in San Antonio, and she found out and got even more mad. So I took her to the Dave & Buster's in Seattle. She had no idea there was one over there. And we had a great time. She had her eye on a prize. We won that prize. I got a shirt that says winner on it, as well as a plush Donkey Kong, which, oh man, I didn't bring him. It was a plush Donkey Kong. He's the only Super Nintendo character that wears a tie. I respect that. I love Donkey Kong. It's on like Donkey Kong. And so I got one of those. He's going to represent the show here really well, just like my Deadpool plush that I won from Dave & Buster's the first time. And so anyway, we did the Dave & Buster's thing, had great food, great drinks, and then went back to the hotel, and then the next day we went to the Lego store. We just did a bunch of little kid things, right? And then we went to the Funko Pop headquarters, and that place is like a museum, and it is awesome! I love the Funko Pop headquarters. Oh my god, we spent way too much money, but it was well worth it. I got a Wayne and Garth Funko Pop from Wayne's World to add to my collection. In fact, I thought about starting the show that way instead of my theme, the Wayne's World theme, and having the Funko Pops, and they're not even out of the dust right now. Like, it's been so go the last 72 hours that I haven't had a chance to like unpack or really anything. I grabbed this shirt as I got out of the shower because I want to wear one of my new shirts today for the show. So I did that, and then we went to Death Cab for Cutie. We were watching football pretty much the entire time, all during this. But went to Death Cab for Cutie. It was a great concert. Out in the park, got rained on a little bit, but that's fine. And then came back home. And then yesterday I had a day to recoup and recover. And then today went to work and decided, let's do this. Happy birthday, fan show. We're coming back. So I got a few responses here. Looks like Aunt Smith says, the only difference to me is the play of the offense and defensive line. Skill players are skill players regardless of the level. I will agree with you wholeheartedly on that. In fact, I see Zach Hibden is watching. I'd like his thoughts. The question of the day, Zach, in case you missed it, if you're still watching, is is there a difference between the level of talent between the AFL and the IFL and NAL? Like, is there a noticeable difference? Like, could we put the champions against each other, pending what rules we could agree on, or do we need to find the lowest, finishing team from the AFL and put them against the champion of the IFL or the NAL? Adam says, even if the talent level is different, IFL is more fun to watch than the AFL. And I will agree. It was funny because I talked sports, obviously, over the weekend. The entire time I was gone. It's what I do. I talk sports. People will find me and they will strike up conversations about sports. So I talked a lot of sports while I was gone, and that's what I try to do with my time off, is I'll utilize it. I'll try to get the pulse of the fans out and see, what's going on. And their consensus is that the IFL, and NAL for that matter, it's more fundamental football. It is more geared towards fundamental football. Your defense matters. You have a run game. And yeah, your skill position players get love, but so does your line, your defensive line, your offensive line. And people will argue, well, if you don't have a defense, if there's no defense in AFL, then, I guess when it comes to final scores, it's just like whoever, has the ball last. And it's not always that way. I get it. There is a defensive element to the AFL. You just don't see it quite like you do in the IFL NAL. So it is more geared towards fundamental football, and some people, they just don't like the feeling that, it's this condensed version of football, and then you still get football scores. Look, the final score, if you want scores in the 80s and 90s, watch basketball. I mean, that's really my advice to you, because the AFL, like, it's football, but it's high scoring. It's like, so it's not really football then, because football's not high scoring. Anyway, I digress. But my point is that I think it was a lot of fun to have that discussion and conversation. I know a lot more now than I did previously, and I think that the fans and people that I spoke with about it pointed out some great things. And I do think, in all honesty, that the IFL really has the best rules and the best format. The NAL second best. I do love their deuce for kickers. I feel like that's how kickers get a lot more love. And let's see here, Matt's just like, we do adult things. Yes, we do. Yes, we did. So there was some really good constructive conversation, which is what you want. I don't want to debate people, which, speaking of which, certain pages were added again, and certain people decided to troll my page and then start stuff with my wife when she decided to jump in and be like, hey, chill. And he was just like, blah, 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 blah. He got banned from like 3 pages that day. Don't mess with the fan show. Especially don't mess with my wife. Because that's just, that's how you get booted from 3 pages in a single day. I wonder what it's like to be him. To sit back and be like, wow, I really pissed off the wrong guy. No, you're just stupid is really all you were. And the wife and I came up with a new motto for the world. I mean, really more like the United States. But it's be whatever you want to be. Just don't be a dick about it. I think that probably solves 90% of the world's problems. Be whatever you want to be. Just don't be a dick about it. You want to be a vegan? Great. Don't be a dick about it. You want to be, an activist? Great. Don't be a dick about it. You want to be religious? You want to be not religious? Great. Don't be a dick about it. It's really not that hard to figure out. So let's get to the meat of this stuff, which is what's happened lately. Of course, NFL has officially begun, and thank God, because I had missed the NFL. I miss the IFL more. I'll be honest. I miss indoor arena season more. And for me, the NFL has become a soap opera. I do love that they are just really, really going to town with this, 100 seasons, their century mark. And yet they refuse to acknowledge really anything before the Super Bowls began, which is funny because if you've noticed in this whole leading up to the 100 seasons and now that they've started their 100th season, they've been very careful with the word choice where they will use the term Super Bowl era more now than they ever have before. It's not just, in NFL history. It's, well, in the Super Bowl era, he had the most receptions of any wide receiver for his age and from that college or blah, blah, blah. Whatever statistics they want to throw at you. So I think that they probably realize that because we're coming up on, 54, 55 Super Bowls, but they're celebrating 100 seasons. But yet they don't ever acknowledge how many championships the Browns won or the total amount of championships that the Packers have won, which is why the trophy is called the Lombardi. So it's interesting to me to see that whole thing play out. But I thought that was funny because I've heard that term like 4 times over the weekend. Well, in the Super Bowl era. Adam says, Pottsville Maroons, 1925 NFL champions. That is correct. So Antonio Brown is a Patriot. And people are under the belief that this was a conspiracy that was well orchestrated by Antonio Brown and his agent. And I look at Antonio Brown and I'm like, no, he did not orchestrate that. No, maybe his agent did. But look, as I posted on Facebook and tweeted, this is a classic case of, well, it'll be different with me. Like we've heard so many people that get into bad relationships from the get-go. Didn't he cheat on like his last 3 girlfriends? Yeah, but it'll be different with me. Okay, keep telling yourself that. And look, Bill B, he can do whatever he wants, but he does not take crap from anybody. And I don't know, like if you can't get Antonio Brown under control, because he had to pretty much script Gronk, right? Did we forget that Gronk would be at press conferences and would openly say, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or talk about it because he didn't want to get in trouble. And people thought that guys like Sherman were going to end up there. No, you thought that a guy like Antonio Brown is going to end up there. And I'm just like, I don't see it. And then they did, and it's like, wow. I guess if anybody can whip him in the shape, it's Bill B. But we will see. The helmet issue, the whole thing with the Raiders. I mean, look, if you think he's a genius, great. But I think that if this turns out to be where we find out it was cleverly orchestrated by him and his agent, the universe has a tendency to give just as good as it receives, man. What goes around will come back around. So Antonio Brown might be all smiles right now because he wasted a team's time for an entire offseason and then all of preseason. In fact, 24 hours prior to regular season kickoff to end up on a team that he wanted the whole time. Like, if that's your angle, man, yeah, universe has got something in store for you. Adam says he's just insane. I see Luke is tuned in. Luke, good to see you. I hope you guys got out unscathed from Hurricane Dorian or Dorwin or whatever it was. Man, that was a lot of hype, wasn't it? That was like Antonio Brown being a part of the Raiders. It was all hype, and then it was just gone. In fact, the Ravens hit Miami harder than that hurricane did. That was one of the funniest tweets I saw all weekend. Man, Miami, what a mess. So the Niners win. The Browns lose. I don't think a lot of people saw that one coming. The Browns, look, I don't think 0-1 is the end of this new era of the Cleveland Browns. But man, you got to show me something than you did. Show me something more than you did this weekend, because that was just ugly. That does not show me that you guys have it together, that this whole offseason of talking about how you traded for OBJ, that Baker's the guy, that you've got Chubb, and that you've got these guys in position, and that you're just going to run the league and rule the AFC North, and then you go and you lose to the Titans, who, not taking anything away from the Titans, but they were not nearly as hyped as I think probably they weren't nearly as hyped as the Browns, that's for damn sure. They weren't nearly as hyped as the Ravens or a lot of other teams. Like, as far as the top 5 most hyped teams in the NFL, Titans didn't even touch probably the top 10. Let's see here. Matt said Belichick is not a dick about it. No, he's not. He's a dick in press conferences, that's for sure. But that's just Bill B. Hey, James, good to see you. What he did was clever as a man. Man-to-man talk with the organization and don't waste no one's time. That's one way to look at it. Luke says AB is a whiny little baby, but it worked. And he said, yes, Dorian was slow, bro. Thank God it didn't hit as hard as it did. I'm guessing the Bahamas, because they got hit really hard. Matt says, let's face it, the Browns are still the Browns. Yeah. Cleveland Browns. No W's yet. And then Luke agrees with Matt. And how about those Eagles in the second half? Man, you had to have been sweating bullets. I was a little bit too. So again, Niners win, Browns lose. That's week 1. Seahawks win by a point at home to the Bengals. And I told my wife, I said, if you guys lose this, it's because every single expert and analyst predicted that this was a lock. Could not possibly go any other way than a Seahawks win at home in week 1. And it almost went that way. 1 point. A win is a win, but man, there is no way that anybody was just like, I knew it the whole time. We had it. It's nothing. No, don't do that. Lamar Jackson was fantastic. I don't know if that's like a flash in the pan thing or what. Pat Mahomes was good again. The Dolphins were terrible, and the Raiders won without Antonio Brown. Despite everything that happened in the offseason, the Raiders still won against Flacco. Joe don't know how to spell elite Flacco, and that doesn't surprise me. I did pick Denver in that one. I think I went 12-4 this weekend as far as my picks go. My survivor pick, I'm already strike 1 because I picked the Jets, who lost by 1 to the Bills. Oh, man. They had Le'Veon Bell, who was doing Le'Veon Bell things, and they still managed to lose to the Bills. I tell you. So your guys' biggest takeaways from week 1 of the NFL, your biggest surprises, your biggest, told you so's, and just overall thoughts and anything that you would like to share in the chat. James also says, Is Romeo days of putting together defense over? We're still hurting here in Houston. I don't know, man. Houston, that's a tough call. People want to blame Bill O, and I don't think it's Bill O's deal, because this was a team that people were fearing last year with Deshaun Watson and Hopkins. But, yeah, you're right. The defense is the problem now. I love how people say that Hyde is washed up and his best days are behind him, but I still think that Hyde's got plenty left in the tank. So your guys' biggest takeaways from week 1. Let's go ahead and move now into the IFL, which I think everybody can agree that of all the news that's been the biggest, of all the news that's been big news, that there is one that has been the biggest news, and that is the tactics of social media powers that be, the Spokane Shock. Look, I don't know how else to say it except for they're back. The Shock is back. I'm very excited about this. I know who one of the top head coaching candidates is, and that's wow, really? Okay, they're really going for it on this one. So that's good news for the people of Spokane to have a team come back. And Duke City obviously made the jump from the CIF to the IFL. We all saw that coming. And then, of course, today was announced the Oakland Panthers, co-owned by Marshawn Lynch, bringing football back to Oakland, or I guess really keeping it in Oakland, since the Raiders have not yet officially moved to Vegas. But good on him. Very excited for the opportunity to maybe get a chance to speak with him during the 2020 IFL season. Looking forward to a great tour. Looks like there's a lot of stops popping up now that I could potentially visit. And of course, you, the fans, will always have a voice in where I go. Where do you want to see me? And things of that nature. So Duke City, Oakland, looks like Spokane is all but officially official. So it's not fan show official yet, but it might as well be. And then, of course, the remaining teams that are in talks right now are Portland and Boise, and I believe Tri-Cities as well. The Nebraska Danger have been purchased by an owner out of Dallas. Looks like they will relocate the Dallas Danger, or will they rebrand? I don't know. And then the Sioux Falls Storm have found new ownership, so that's good for them. Let's see here. Luke says, man, Deshaun being back is so good for us. Wentz just connected with him so well. People knock Marshall and Jackson and guys that have been journeymen in the NFL at the receiver position, which he hasn't really been a journeyman. He just, decided to go play for a rival for a little bit. But yeah, having him back I could see is really good. Let's see here. Adam says, thoughts on week 1? Ties suck. They really do. Can we stop with the ties in the NFL? Because we've had, the last 3 seasons in a row now, or 3 out of the last 4 seasons, and there's been a tie in week 1, 2 seasons in a row. I want you to think about that. A sport that probably had the fewest amount of ties because it was damn near impossible to tie has had 3 in the last 4 seasons, 2 in a row in week 1 the last 2 seasons. That is absolutely crazy. Ooh, I was getting winded there. So yeah, the shock. I'm very excited about this, and I know that you guys, one more time for the folks at home, Spokane Shock. Look, this is a great opportunity for players that are obviously, when you have 6 teams, there's not a lot of options for players that don't make the cut, There's not, I'll just go and play for these guys. With 10 teams, yes, obviously you give them 4 more landing spots. 14 to 16 teams, now you have a lot of landing spots, and now you look like a league that knows what you're doing. You're upping the competition, obviously, and you're making it more attractive to players that are deciding between you and the NAL and the CIF and the AAL and whatever other leagues are out there. But the IFL and people that I've talked to that are part of other leagues said that it is the premier indoor league right now. And, you don't want expansion to happen too fast. You don't want to have the wrong ownership in the wrong places. And you just don't wish that anything like Orlando happens with teams like this. God, that was just such a bad situation for the Orlando Predators. But anyway, you want it to work, right? You really, really want it to work, and you want everything to go well and make sure that it's going to be a great time for everybody and that the franchise works, the players are taken care of, and the fans are happy. So expand where you want to. Just make sure that the expansion is done right. That's all I ask. And I think that 16 teams is a beautiful number. It would break things up where, look, I will always be a fan of taking the top 4 best teams or the top 6 or the top 8 best teams to the postseason. But yeah, for scheduling reasons and just for overall sanity, you do need to have conferences and divisions. So I see 4 divisions, 2 conferences, and of course I got some feedback for that post as far as where I thought certain teams would line up at. And I see Mr. Gonzalez, HG3. What's up, old man? What's up, old man? Let's see here. James says he's still a free agent, so that's good. You've got new landing spots now. And yes, to all of you, some of you, most of you hopefully saw my post on my personal page yesterday that what makes the Fan Show different as a brand, as a media outlet or source is that, look, it doesn't just start and stop here. It is well managed behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes and in the background. I will always look out for my guys. And that, Marquez Gallman said that he was looking for an agent. I know a few agents. Sent him to the first couple that I figured might be interested, and they're going to take it from there. Like, look, I get it. I know what it's like to be in your shoes to an extent. I'm not going to say I'm an athlete or a former athlete. I know what you're going through, man. It's tough. No, we just understand that we are trying to get to a certain destination, and we will get there however we can because we know that we've been overlooked for certain opportunities and things like that. And all you're looking for is just a little help, and I'm happy to do that. So if you're a free agent, if you have highlight film and you would like me to share that and to reach out to people, I can certainly do that for you. It's no problem whatsoever. That's what the Fan Show is all about. So, James, if you're still a free agent. Let's find you a home, shall we? Matt says feedback. Yeah, there's a little bit of feedback there. So I'm most excited about the IFL expansion. Obviously, I think this Oakland team is going to be very well put together, especially because Marshawn Lynch isn't going to put his name and brand on something that is likely to fail after one season. But he is, I mean, he's not a new entrepreneur. He's not a new businessman because he has his own brand. He's opened his own store and his clothing line and everything like that. So it's not like he's new to business. He is new to maybe ownership of a team and a franchise. So we'll see how that goes. Chris says the CIF killed my vibe hard this offseason. Dude, they killed everybody's vibe hard this offseason. They really did. I feel your pain there because it's, look, the IFL is the place to be. And what's funny is that people are starting to acknowledge it now is the place to be. I've always said for 4 years that it was the place to be. I wrote off the CIF 2 seasons ago when they did that whole thing to Bloomington and West Michigan. And look, I get it. You know, someone pushed you and you pushed him back. But, you know, you got to be adults about this. And you took away opportunities for guys like maybe James. I know Herbert Gonzalez, he was on one of those teams. Thankfully, he landed on another team. But you just took opportunities away from players for no reason at all. Because you were a little kid that wasn't going to be bullied on the playground or whatever you want to call it. And you also took opportunities away from interns, jobs away from front office members, coaches, and staff, and it just really left a sour taste in my mouth. So I wrote off the CIF. They can just bye-bye. And the IFL can continue to build itself as the Premier League. And might I say, is it a coincidence that the IFL happens to be the Premier League of indoor football, and it is the one that is exclusively covered by, you guessed it, the F.A.N show? Just saying. Look, I covered the NAL, and I have nothing against them. But it seems like they have their guys for coverage. It was, you know, and that's great for them. I tried my best. I couldn't make it down to any of the games for the NAL this season. There was a lot of stuff that went on in the NAL as far as the thing that happened in New York with the theft and the Cobras, and then of course the Orlando Predators just being a mess. But it is what it is. I would still say that that's a better league as far as talent, competition, and just franchises and teams and ownership than the CIF is. And yeah, that's a shot. But the IFL Premier League and the F.A.N show covers it well. Coincidence? I think not. But that's just me. That's just me tooting my own horn. Herbert says it's all love. Stay blessed. A great show. I love you too, HD3 man. Let's get you on an XFL team. Very excited for the XFL. That's right. All the names and logos and team colors were revealed, and the Seattle Dragons. Man, did we get the best deal out of that thing? So there's the LA Wildcats, the Seattle Dragons, there's the Dallas Renegades, there's the New York Guardians, which Gargoyle, there's the wow, that's half of them, and I'm completely blanking the others. I was not prepared for this portion of the show, I'll be honest. It's okay though, it's all right. But there is let's see here. Oh, there's the Houston Roughnecks. Cool. Adam says, kind of really moving towards Seattle Dragons as my team of the XFL. Good. I've been telling you this for how long? Like, you need to pledge your allegiance to Seattle, okay? Because then if you decide that you want to go to a game, you just meet me halfway. You drive to Spokane, and then we drive together. We go see a Seattle Dragons game. Or if I end up getting credentials, I don't know, maybe, possibly for them, then you can be my assistant for a day and come with me. Like, Adam, you need to be Team Seattle Dragons, okay? And then I say this, and then, like, the Houston Roughnecks are just like, hey, we noticed that you were looking for a job in the XFL, and we're wondering if you'd be interested. And I'm like, now I gotta go and change everything. Yes. As far as what I've also been doing behind the scenes and during my time away, is I've been actively looking for my next opportunity. I have less than a year left at the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, and everything that I've been doing has gotten better and better. It's improved me immensely. I'm still waiting for that someone to take a chance on me. I'm not going to put together some kind of petition or online thing that you like and share or whatever to try to get me with Spokane. Look, if Spokane wants me, they know how to get a hold of me. Trust me, they do. The owner has my phone number. So if Spokane wants me, they're very much towards the top of the list. It makes the most sense, But look, if another team wanted my services, then all they got to do is just reach out and talk and make things happen. But there's been too many people that have mentioned things and then failed to follow through, and it's like, okay, well, I'm going to move on to the next. Like, I'm not going to beg for an opportunity. I don't think anybody should beg for an opportunity that they know in the back of their mind they deserve, and that a lot of people will acknowledge that they deserve. So these guys that are sharing highlight film and everything, good. Do not beg for your opportunity, because you are better than begging for a chance to do what you know that you're very good at. So D-Magit, I know you're listening. Maybe out there somewhere. I'm getting very animated, getting very intense right now. Let's see. Oh, yes, DC Defenders, Tampa Bay Vipers. Thank you, Antoine, for helping me out there. So Tampa Bay Vipers, that was pretty good. Vipers doesn't make a whole lot of sense in Tampa Bay. DC Defenders is a good one. And then there's the Houston Roughnecks, the Dallas Defenders, the LA Wildcats, the Seattle Dragons, and I'm missing two more. Who are the last two that I'm missing here? It is the somebody out there will help me out here. Matt says, get me a photo credential for the XFL. I will drive from Wisconsin. Dude, that would be some great photos to have if you did some XFL work, which, you know, you guys love Matt's photography. I know I do. His opinions and thoughts on music are great. You need to go and subscribe to Fat Bearded Vinyl Guy, because right now he's doing a series, volumes of the best intros of songs, and I got to say they're great. Let's see here. New York Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, there's a lot of marketing opportunity for some of these teams. I think that the Seattle Superfan should be the Super Saiyans. I mean, that just makes the most sense. If there's not a 12th man Superfan group in Seattle dressed up in, you know, Dragon Ball Z gear, it's going to be a huge disappointment. But it is what it is. Yes, St. Louis Battlehawks. That's another one. And then I'm missing one more. So St. Louis Battlehawks, and then there's the last one, which is, man, I don't know how I keep wanting to say AAF teams is what I'm wanting to do, because there were 8 of those. I keep wanting to, I'm just like, oh, well, there was the Arizona Hotshot. No, there's not. Yeah, someone needs to be Krillin, and then when they're down late in the fourth, somebody sacrifices him, and then they win, right? And then they just bring him back to life with the Dragon Balls the next day. That would be great. Sacrificial Krillin for the Seattle Dragons. Oh, all right, guys. Well, I gotta tell you, it has been great to be back, and you guys can keep commenting here because I'm not done just yet. But I am coming up on the 45-minute mark, and I know I could go over, but I just wanted to get back into the swing of things. I wanted to show you guys what I've been working on. What you're seeing on the Facebook Live, which I cannot stress enough, you need to go to the Facebook page, all right? You're looking at the scroll right now. It's giving it to you. It's spoon-feeding it to you, just like you need it, baby birds. You know, it's right there. Twitter, Fan Show Official. Instagram, The F.A.N Show, and Facebook, facebook.com/Fan Show Official. All right? And that is where you can see this live in all of its glory. And I've been doing some upgrading. I've been learning some things, and I'm very excited about bringing you guys highlight videos, some more logos and images, and just, like I said, I was working towards a better product and presentation while I was away. I said, I'm working on some things right now. I'm going to be gone a little bit longer than I expected, but it's going to give you a better fan show experience. And I certainly hope that you guys watching have enjoyed this experience, at least a little better than the last one, where there's just the clutter and everything behind me. But look, my desk is still my desk. I got Jordan Endry's signed kicking shoe right here. Okay, that didn't go far. I got my Kevin Stud Rudd signed football from his touchdown when I was in Quad City. I've got my United Bowl ball right here. Like, look, the desk, the command center of the Fan Show hasn't changed. But I didn't want you guys to look in my studio and see clutter and think that I'm unorganized. Like, you guys deserve better. You guys deserve great presentation, and that's what I wanted to give you right here with this. So I learned how to do this, and I wanted to give it to you guys, and it's only going to get better from here. And you know that because I stand by my word, and everything that I have done has gotten better when I said it's only going to get better. So let's see what else we've got here real quick. Hey, Barry, good to see you. But yes, I sincerely hope that you guys have enjoyed the new live look. And of course, if you're listening, don't forget to subscribe. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. We are broadcasting live and recording on Spreaker.com. So if you miss any of the show as far as live, you can always listen on demand. And if you're an iTunes person, please go and subscribe and give me a review. 5 stars would be preferred, but then a few comments as well. The more that you guys review and like iTunes as far as the podcast version, the more it shows up people's searches as far as like the featured podcasts. Speaking of podcasts, I was a guest on one, The Creative Rebellion, a few weeks ago. That episode just debuted yesterday, so that was a great birthday present to the Fan Show. I got to be the interview subject for Des, and she's a great host, and it was a fantastic conversation. I shared the link earlier today, and there's a quote from it and everything, so please go and listen to that if you haven't yet. We'll have a new BattleBots episode special tomorrow, and then we'll be back with an all-new live episode Thursday as we preview the weekend. Maybe I'll have a special guest for you, maybe not, but we're going to kind of, tiptoe into the shallow end towards the deep end as we get back into this, because I want it to continue to get better and better. I don't want to lax or sacrifice on a whole lot of stuff. So onward and upward to infinity and beyond is the Fan Show. And Barry, a lot is up. I hope that you go back and watch this on the Facebook page later, because it's been a lot of fun. It really has been. And as far as anything else, I'm trying to think. Week 2 of the NFL is going to be pretty good, but I'll save that for Thursday. Also, speaking of BattleBots, watch the Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Yes, we do have a YouTube channel. Go and subscribe. It is basically at the point now in their taping and season where we were there. Me and Matt were there. So you're going to start seeing interviews that I did on location, and you might even see me in the background. You might catch my ear again. That was a lot of fun. So again, thank you guys so much. It is great to be back. The Fan Show is officially 4 years old today. We're going into our 5th season, and it has been a terrific journey, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. We have broken 2,000 likes on Facebook. We're still over 7,000 follows on Twitter. Really need to work on the Instagram, but please continue to like, share, love, and listen to all of our content, and watch now as we get more and more visual stuff out there for you guys. But it has been great to be your host of the Fan Show and the captain of Fan Nation as we get into another great season of the Fan Show, and looking towards, obviously, year number 5. But thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. Hope you've enjoyed it. And remember, it's not official unless it's Fan Show official. See how rusty I am? Let's try that one more time. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it's not official unless it is Fan Show official. And we are officially out of here. So, until next time, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.